Welcome to the Lodge. You've accessed
The Lodgecast experience.
warning, warning, dangerous spoilers ahead. Enjoy.
Let's get ready for Dumbo!
It's a Dumbo hot take, y'all. You never thought it was going to happen, did you? But we out here, downtown L.A.
3 Dumbos.
Oh, my God. This is Hot Takes. I'm your Lodge Master. With me, as always, is Brother Bishki.
Yup!
And Brother Lucas in the back.
Dumbo, 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 Dumbo.
And we went to Dumbo in 4DX.
3D, 4D.
3D 4DX. On a Tuesday night. So the D stands for discount.
As well as dimension.
As well as just Big D.
Discount dimension.
I didn't think we were going to see this movie.
This was not on the agenda.
This is not. This
was not even, honestly, I didn't even know this was coming out.
This is off the books.
I have zero awareness. I don't honestly think the three of us, I'd be hard-pressed to guess if any of us saw this trailer in a theater before one of the other movies we've seen.
Is this our first Disney film?
I don't even know.
I think so.
Was
yeah.
Wrinkle in Time?
Wrinkle in Time
was
is Disney.
Wrinkle in Time must have been Disney.
Touchdown,
yeah, it was
maybe?
Disney. It was Disney. Yeah. So this is our second Disney film.
Well, we've really come a long way, gents. First off, I have a theory, and I think you guys could back me up here. We've been to 4DX before, and either that theater is in disrepair, it's breaking down, or they turn off some of the functions on discount night.
I think the latter.
Yeah.
I fully think you get what you pay for because
we're supposed to get
a lot.
We're supposed to get fog, smells, bubbles, water.
Yeah.
There's
And-
literally
which they could have
there's
used
no,
all
there's
of
no
those.
less than 12 icons on the sign outside the theater, each representing a different effect.
And tonight we
We
got
got two.
we got
We-
strobe
three.
lights and wind and motion.
We were
Yeah.
lucky to get strobe lights.
We
but
were very
the
we were very lucky.
the
to
motion
get
and
strobe
We
wind
lights.
should have
was-
gotten so wet.
Yeah, the motion and wind was fine, but there was no wetness. There was no bubbles.
I knew there was going to be some Dumbo water play, and there was, and we are bone dry.
And there was
Yeah.
one major sequence in fog and smoke.
Yeah.
And there was no
There was
And,
no
there's,
fog.
and there's a
fog.
and there's a major bubble sequence.
Yes.
And I'm just looking around. I don't need the theater full of bubbles, but I just want a few bubbles.
But you can
Yeah.
achieve the full theater full. I mean, it's not
the
that
theater
difficult.
is capable of filling with bubbles. I've seen it.
Oh, you've seen it.
And
Yes.
I am such a nice guy. I'm sitting there thinking, oh well, this was the last show of the day. This 6:30 show time, they must have ran out of bubbles. They must have run out of water. but then I'm thinking, no. If you schedule
fuck
it, if
you.
you program a 6:30 show time, you've got 6:30 bubble supplies and 6:30 water reserves to make sure those pipes are fully loaded.
You got to make sure the men that come in, the grown men that
Yeah.
come in to watch Dumbo, are delighted by bubbles.
And the water, okay, so the water during the 4DX presentation, which I love, everybody loves, in the beginning of before the film,
Yes.
it got me wet, and I had
Oh,
to
it was amazing. No.
I had to clean my glasses off.
The Regal 4DX Get Ready for the Experience, I think played 10 times better than the movie.
The crowd always loves it.
yeah,
Dude,
but then
eat
they're
it
out
up.
of water because I didn't have to clean my glasses off.
I think it
once
ran
again.
out
Yeah.
of water in our row.
or it got blown away. I don't know.
Anyway, it was discount night. A lot of cracked iPhone screens illuminating the theater around us.
We also got discounted some guests, too.
Yeah. We were initially going to do this episode because a lodge member was very excited about it, and that person has a very valid reason for not being able to attend
I
tonight.
agree, yeah.
That will be filled in later.
Dodged a bullet. For sure.
But we out here, we saw Dumbo.
Falling on the grenade
We
for you.
drank at the yard house.
We got drunk.
We each got a half
Oh,
yard
Thank God
to
for
try
that.
to. Yeah, that really did help to blunt.
But there is nothing more humbling in a person's life than having to tell a stranger to their face that you were not going to see us,
The waiter.
that you were not going to see whatever else is out besides
Jordan
us.
Peele's Us, by the way. Yeah.
Yeah. You were going to see Dumbo.
Yeah, we admitted to the waiter that we were seeing Dumbo.
He
and
beat it out of us. He fucking made us, like, we were just like, oh, you know, whatever. And he goes, no, tell me. I want to know. What are you going to go see? And I was like, oh, God, why do we have to do this?
And then we said, we're going to see Dumbo. And then as if it were going to make us cooler, we said, in 40X.
In 40X.
And then he's like,
40X.
oh, so they, like, spit on you? That waiter knew the score. He's seen it all before. So let's get into it. Tim Burton, you've done it again.
Let's revisit Tim Burton's filmography.
Oh.
Batman and Pee-wee's Playhouse were some of my favorite films growing up, and then I watched some films I didn't like in the late 90s and early 2000s, and then I
haven't checked in on him for a while.
I haven't seen anything since Sweeney Todd.
Okay.
And
the Demon Barber of Fleet Street?
Yeah, which was like 15 years ago.
Yeah.
And he's
back.
He's back.
Three things I enjoyed about this movie. One, Colin Farrell looks like Tim Heidecker in clown makeup.
Well, first of all, I want to say, Colin Farrell, God bless him, is so dialed in because he's playing a Great War, World War I veteran, coming home from the battlefield, sans an arm, a limb. But he, honest to God, must have lost like 20, 30 pounds of like Christian Bale machinist type of weight, because he looked like he truly was like, no one in World War I ate, so I'm not going to eat. And I'm thinking, like, this is like a grown man, and he looks like he's 12.
He's a professional, dude. I mean,
Even though he's in Dumbo, he came to play.
he came to play, and he's like a classic leading man now.
He is. He is just drop dead, like, handsome. Like, I
Yeah.
just cannot get over that
And-
this guy's been around for forever, and he's getting younger.
He's
because
doing a Missouri accent, and he doesn't lose it. When you expect him
It's
to.
not a good one, but
It's
he
not a
doesn't
good
lose
one,
it.
It's not a
but
good
it's
one.
consistent. No,
Yeah.
he's got a great dialect coach, and he learns all his lines phonetically
The
for whatever
second thing-
dialect he's doing.
The second thing I loved about this movie is that Colin Farrell calls Dumbo Big D.
Oh, God.
He calls him Big D
Come
throughout.
on, Big D, and he slaps
Have
Big
you
D's
seen-
bottom.
He slaps Big D's bottom and said, "Go get him, Big D."
like a team player. Like, come on, let's do a Big D. And every time, I just could not help but giggle and laugh like a church boy. Like,
Yeah.
I just couldn't help it.
And the third thing that I loved about it, I can't remember, but they did have Michael Buffer saying, "Let's get ready for Dumbo." Twice
Unbelievable.
they have him come out and do
Yeah.
that shtick.
Who I met in the 90s at the height of his fame,
Holy
and
shit.
asked him for an autograph at the movie theater I worked at, and he said no.
The man who reads.
And he was with some broad, some gal that was not his wife or his girlfriend. I don't know who she was. But
You
there
researched it?
There was some funny business going on there. Yeah, it was like his assistant or something.
She was in the buffer zone.
Yeah, out to see a movie together at lunch.
Okay, let's stay positive for as long as possible.
Okay, I got some more positives.
Yeah,
if
what do you
want.
got?
I felt, between some fits of boredom, I felt the Disney magic a few times. I think the first time that Dumbo flies, and I don't know if, I think it was the Danny Elfman score, and then the second time when Dumbo
Dropped?
dropped. No, it was
Dumbo does drop in this, by the
I
way.
guess it's just
Spoiler
Dumbo
alert.
flying again. And Danny Elfman's score. I don't know. Whenever he brings that choir in, and
You don't feel like there's... Well,
I mean,
you don't feel like it's Danny Elfman on autopilot, though?
No, it is.
It's
It
like
is.
It's
He's-
like Tim Burton
he's
preset on his
He's
synthesizer.
revisiting like Edward Scissorhands, but the music kind of got to me, and,
Right.
and the spectacle of the large scale spectacle of the second circus. I thought with Dumbo flying over it, I was like, this.
Michael Keaton's
this
circus.
Yeah, Michael.
I
Keaton.
forgot Michael Keaton was in this.
Yeah. Who? well, we'll stay positive. Let's stay positive.
His accent is not consistent. It kind of reminds me of Peter Dinklage's accent in Game of Thrones, but you're not mad at it.
No.
Like, you're not mad at Dinklage, and you're definitely not mad at Michael Keaton. You're happy that he's there.
Yeah, right? I'm sitting there thinking, where the hell have you been, bro? Like, seriously, like, let's be real. Like you dipped out for what reason again? Like, I never really got the full story. I guess because he just was too fucking crazy after Batman Returns.
Well, it's a Batman Returns reunion. We
Yeah.
got Michael Keaton, we got
DeVito, who does his best. I think.
DeVito, we got Burton, we got Elfman. They're all back, baby.
Yeah.
Yeah, was missing Christopher Walken, oddly, from that equation.
Yeah.
Like,
he
could have been the Alan
Walken
Arkin
could have
role.
Yes. Alan Arkin was
I didn't recognize.
not present.
I didn't recognize him. I
He
was
was
like,
not
I
present.
sat up and kind of leaned forward, and I was like, I think that's Alan Arkin.
I honestly don't think he knew what movie he was in. And there's so much green screen in this movie, he might not have seen anything. He might not have seen any circus performers. It could have all been green screen. He could have just been in a warehouse somewhere and never knew it was a Dumbo film. Because he's just sitting there reacting the same way the whole time.
Yeah, he's just wowed.
Speaking of which, just the oppressive use of green screen it just hurts the soul. Like,
Yeah, which has been going on with Tim Burton, I think, for a long time.
even if you're just walking through a field, everything's fake. Like, everything's artificial. Nothing is real. The elephants aren't real. The mice aren't real.
That's what
Nothing
killed. That's
is
what killed
real.
me. As I was thinking, man, you know what I really loved about Raiders of the Lost Ark is the bad dates. Like, it was a real monkey, you know. And I'm not saying it's the best actor or whatever, but at least it was like, so when the monkey died, you were like, damn, that's fucking creepy. That's real. Like that. But in this movie, the monkey's just so CGI'd. It's not funny. Like, the comedy doesn't work because it's like,
It's all fake.
Yeah.
CG monkey in the desk. Like, that's a good laugh.
CG
But
elephant,
It's
it's
just a monkey.
cute,
It's just
but it's
like,
fake.
just
And like,
so
you
hammy.
look at its eyes and you're like, think about all the meetings and all the think tank brain power that went into those eyes,
And
the
they're
shape, the size, and the emotion of them. Like, it's just.
They're trying for photoreal. They got like veins in the
But it
ears
doesn't
of
matter.
Dumbo, but no,
it doesn't matter. And maybe it would be easier to take if there was any heart behind it. But this movie's got no heart. Like, I truly feel that Tim Burton doesn't even direct these anymore. He's like an
agreed.
app. He's an app at this point.
I feel like this movie, he wasn't even on.
He wasn't even
set
there
because
he probably
there-
Skyped in a
because
couple times.
There were just simple shots like missing from the setups. Like, for instance, like when the power at the amusement park goes haywire and all the attractions are kind of going off the rails. It only kind of works if you show us the audiences or like park goers' reactions to it.
We don't get anywhere near them.
But instead, yeah, it's just cutting, disaster.
Wide shot.
And it's like, okay, but like it's just tone deaf. Like there's just it's like, I kept thinking, wow, I just came up with a new catchphrase. It's 5 simple words. It sounded like a table read. Like every like line reading,
It sounded like a table. That's 6 words.
Yeah.
But it sounded like a table read.
It definitely sounded like a table read, and I don't think any of these performances were directed.
No,
Like, I really
Those
think
kids weren't directed.
no, the
well,
girls,
we'll get to the kids in a second, but just on DeVito and Farrell, like, they're pros. They can do what they want. You know, Keaton too. I don't think he got second takes on anything. I don't think he wanted them either.
No.
But like, this seems like nitpicking, but like a simple line, like Colin Farrell's missing an arm, and Danny DeVito gives him a fake arm, and Colin Farrell's just kind of like, oh, I don't want this. And then DeVito's like, hey, we're putting on a show here. And then Farrell's supposed to say, and you don't want me scaring the families. I get it. But instead, he says, and you don't want me scaring the families. I get it. Like, it's delivered wrong. No matter what way you slice it. You need to approach him and be like, listen, I think you were kind of zoning out when you read this line.
Yeah.
You need to kind of bury that. You're a little ashamed. But you understand. Like, there's none of that.
There's a lot of head scratchers in the script. Like,
I just feel like he's missing coverage. Like, it's just, you're right. Everything does feel very first take. Like, it's just.
And that central girl, I think it's her first film, and she looks like the best Disney actress ever made.
yeah.
But
She's
there
like a
is
doll.
nothing behind the eyes,
Dead
and
inside.
and the performance is the most wooden like performance, and that's another place where you could have saved the movie a little bit.
Yeah.
Is if you really believed that she believed shit was going down, instead of saying "Fly, Dumbo, fly."
Fly.
Like, it is really shockingly bad. And again, like I don't want to pick on a little girl it's her first movie.
But if Tim Burton could just coax it out of her differently, like by just giving her like stimuli to react to, or like showing us the wonder, excitement in her eyes. But yeah, it was very flat.
And that's how it became very clear that nobody cared, because nobody was working on that.
The little boy who played her brother. What was worse is not only was he just as bad and flat, but he could barely talk. So when he was saying his lines, I was just laughing at him.
Yeah. Yeah, the performances of the kids were like...
They're political hires. It was like Johnny Depp's daughter or somebody. Like, it was Eva Green's daughter. It was someone connected to the family. Like, that is a family affair if I've ever seen one.
Lucas, what did you like about the film?
I already spoke about it. I said Colin Farrell looked great, man. He's a national treasure. And fucking guy's a pro.
Yeah, what else? I know you're hot for Colin, but...
No, he is. He's great. I you know what's crazy is I did not know he was missing an arm.
Okay, but what else? Dig.
The East Indian circus guy was from Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom.
Yes,
it was good to see him back in action, and he looked great.
Good to see him.
He was really he was like the soul of the film. He was the heart of the film, and he had very little to do, but like he really fucking made that guy, I think, the most real character out of all of them.
It just goes to show that if you truly believe in what you're doing as a performer, you don't, like, even if your character is underwritten or not even written,
it shines through.
It's like,
spot.
This dude cares.
Yeah, he's dialed in. Like, he's actually like giving me feels. Like I'm catching feels when he's on screen, because he has gravitas. Like he has wisdom and weight in his eyes. Like,
Another thing that seems like a Dumbo thing to say, but because Dumbo's a cartoon. But Dumbo, the character, didn't do anything to earn all this love, really. Dumbo was born, Dumbo missed his mom, and then Dumbo did his trick. But there wasn't even a montage of, like, you know, frolicking through the fields with the kids, or like helping out around the circus or something.
No, even though he can't talk, he can still do stuff. Like he can,
but he doesn't do anything.
But he doesn't.
Instead, they do the same flying around the circus tent routine, shooting it the same way each time, over and over and over again. You can lean on the Elfman choir every time, but it's going to be diminishing returns.
Yeah. And Eva Green was fine, but I didn't understand why she had to fly on top of Dumbo. Because flying on Dumbo is a weird visual. Dumbo's not big enough.
It looks really weird.
Maybe with the kids, but like a full-grown woman flying on Dumbo was a weird visual.
And Colin Farrell introduces this like magical-looking saddle early on. I'm like, when are you going to put that saddle on Dumbo? Like, Dumbo looks slippery. Like, people are always falling off of him.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think this movie was targeted for us.
It's a kids movie.
It's a kids movie.
It's a Disney movie. It's got dreams and magic, and
kids deserve more to chew on. Like, they deserve better. They deserve somebody to actually direct the movies that they're expected to be enchanted by.
I've seen the original Dumbo not too long ago. And it's a brief 70-minute Disney film. It's the second one they ever made. It's magical because it's one of the earliest, animated feature films. And so, if you need to pick between the two, take the 70-minute 1941 version of Dumbo.
First Dumbo.
Yeah, I haven't seen the original in so long that I couldn't even tell you the plot summary.
I can't.
But I have a vague sense of it being dark and depressing, and definitely makes you cry.
Dumbo had more emotional pull.
Well, let's go to Dem Bones. Brother Bishke, how many dumb bones do you give this thing?
I'm gonna Operation Dumbo drop 1.5 bones on this one.
Yeah.
It actually wasn't. Well, I think it was the beers helped a little bit.
Sure.
And because I was dreading it, and the 4DX did, in limited format, help. Because it could have been the wind that was making me feel emotionally moved too.
The wind was nice.
When Dumbo's ears flapped in my face, I kind of felt it.
Lucas and I could hardly see when the Dora the Explorer preview came on. We were we were a bit toasted.
Yeah.
But the wind is always nice.
The wind's a nice touch.
It can either lull you to sleep or wake you up a little bit.
Yeah. And there was some entertaining friends we had in the audience that were cheering on Dumbo.
Man.
Talking about Dumbo.
One of the evil guys in the circus gets killed.
Oh yeah.
And the dude almost stood up cheering when that happened.
He was loving it.
He was fucking dialed in.
Yeah. So I'll throw out 1.5.
1.5. Brother Lucas.
Yeah, I definitely didn't fall asleep.
No, you didn't. The chair was shaking.
I know. I wanted more of the 4DX. I really felt we got underserved in that department, and I almost thought maybe we should talk about it until they were having some kind of incident with a person who snuck in, and they were sending security up to flush him out. I didn't want to get in the middle of that.
No.
Yeah, this. I understand the IP machine and the Disney cinematic universe and all that stuff, but you really, when you're approaching the IP, like the original cartoon, for instance, you got to ask yourself, what was it about this originally that made us love it? Like, what is it that makes it special? And if you can answer those questions, then you've got to ask yourself, well, does it apply to today? Will people relate to it? And then lastly, and most importantly, what can I do differently? How can I subvert this? How can I change this? How can I make this special and unique and new and fresh and original? And it's like a lot, right? So when you come to this property, Dumbo specifically, a flying baby elephant, the Depression or post-World War I, I don't know. I think, Walt Disney himself was kind of a maniac and pulled a rabbit out of his hat. And I think why the genius of it is because it is animation and it makes it kind of like a fairy tale, and it's not real, but it is. I mean, you're watching it, so it works somehow.
We got Lion King and Aladdin coming right up. More animals.
We definitely got Aladdin.
And with this, I don't even know. I haven't even fact checked this, but I'm just gonna say I would bet my life that they had no Andy Serkis mocap Dumbo. Whatever Dumbo they had was ones and zeros in the computer.
Yeah.
And it kind of shows. It kind of comes through. So, the title character is kind of like an afterthought. It's kind of like a supporting...
So Ian McKellen as Dumbo.
It's like Dumbo's like a supporting character in its own movie. And really, it's like Colin Farrell steals the show with his one arm. And I don't know. What I'm basically saying, go about it the long way, is I don't think this movie should have got made. This is a woof.
Whoa!
There's nothing redeeming here.
He's woofing it.
This is Tim Burton wasn't even there. He just cast it, with his rogues gallery of old friends, which is fine. But they were all they were all sleepwalking. It was all a table, like a dress rehearsal. I felt like between the 4DX and what was on screen, we were definitely getting shortchanged in many departments. And
that's a woof. That's a bold woof.
This year has been rough. I feel like this is my third or fourth fucking woof in as many months.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
It's been a tough year. I'll agree.
Okay.
And you know why? The other thing, I'm sorry, just to put a cherry on top,
put it on.
Is in terms of entertainment, most of the movie in this instance, it's like showing Dumbo in peril. And I'm thinking, if it is a kid's movie, if I'm a kid, this is fucked up. This is some fucked up torture porn shit.
Are you finished?
Yeah.
I thought of the third thing that I like about this movie, and it is the sequence where, out of nowhere, Michael Keaton's circus performers are making all these bubbles, and the bubbles are making shapes and dancing around to this weird music. And they showed Dumbo just looking like he is just tripping his balls off, nodding along with this weird light and these bubbles just moving around. There's nothing else like that in the movie.
Yeah,
Dumbo flying is the magic thing in the movie that everybody's like, wow. But nobody's batting an eyelash at these giant magic bubbles.
Yeah,
and
it's a trip sequence.
And that made me think, maybe this is just what Dumbo's seeing, which is cool. why don't we see the whole movie through Dumbo's eyes?
We do get some Dumbo vision.
We get some Dumbo
but it's
vision.
I didn't like
wide
that
angle.
either. I thought
Yeah.
that was very traumatic and kind of gross, and it just felt like, who the fuck wants to be looked at like they're trapped in a zoo or at a circus? Like, it's
Yeah,
bad vibes.
It looks like, the Dumbo vision looks like you're looking through the eyes of like a mental patient or something.
But it's true. But I liked when Dumbo was just chilling and tripping and watching those bubbles.
Yeah.
But then my wonderment was replaced by anger, where I was just like, where are the fucking bubbles in this 4DX theater that we paid a discount price for? So any sense of wonderment was tamped down by equal and greater displeasure with some aspect of this movie, unfortunately, especially since we were trying to stay positive. It's just lazy. It's
Yeah.
just autopilot. And I respect that woof, but I can't go full woof. Like, I just can't do it. Like, it's technically competent, I guess. You know, all the green screen seams match up. But it's just, the soul isn't there. I gotta give it one bone. I gotta give it one singular dumb bone. I like Michael Keaton's haircut. I don't know.
They actually kind of make you sympathize with them because his fucking dreamland's on fire, like burning to the ground, and the last shot of
DeVito's
that
laughing.
is him, just standing in front of the fucking burning flames.
The
like
D
he's in,
falls off,
like
so
he's
it
in
says
hell.
Reamland. Which I would go to any movie called Reamland.
Oh, Dreamland's gonna be the title of my first book. You mark my words.
All right. Well, we Dumboed it up, y'all. We weren't meant to be here.
No.
But
No.
I'm glad we experienced this. We went back into the Disney realm, and
No Dumbo.
no Dumbo.
No Dumbo. I mean, if Tim Burton had any balls at all, he would have made a Dumbo live action movie in today's era, in the era of the PETA, human rights activists, the millennial Me Too generation. Make that shit real. Like, tap into that shit.
I like that.
You know what I mean? Put that fucking Baz Luhrmann, William Shakespeare, Romeo and Juliet spin on it. Make John Leguizamo the ringmaster, with the cyborg arm, robo arm, and Brian Dennehy the lion tamer.
Well, we're gonna go flesh out that concept. This has been Hot Takes for Dumbo, y'all.
Hot takes.
You don't need to see it.
Let's get out of the Dumbo.
Let's